Gone for a while, moved back 2 years ago, and I love it mostly because we're a fucking football town.
Yeah.
Who loves football? Who knows? Here's the thing, I didn't realize in other parts of the country it's a gender thing to like football. Where I'm from, it's just a white trash thing. Just a way for you to grill in the winter. Hey, Dad, what you doing out there? He's like, the birds are on later. I'm like, yeah, at 8 o'clock tonight, okay? It's 8:30 in the morning. Put the chorus down, Dad. Mom wants you to go to Mass, all right? Here's the thing, if you don't know anything about football, all you need to know for this joke is the Giants from New York and the Eagles from Philadelphia are big rivals. So I could not wait to move to New York, go to a Giants bar, and get into a fight with a Giants fan. You know, make my dad proud. We both have black eyes, so that's my girl. So the day of the game, I go up to this guy who I knew was a Giants fan. I'm like, hey man, we're gonna watch the game later. He's like, what fucking game? Like the Giants-Eagles game. He's like, you like football? But you're a lady. Well, you're really keeping up in this combo. He's like, I just don't get it. How could you like it? You never played it before. Well, that's not how watching works. You've never been a black man from Baltimore, but you love The Wire. Same fucking shit. It's all entertainment, baby. Ladies, if you're not into the NFL, get the fuck into it. It's the most beautiful men at the top of their physical appearance in the tightest costumes of all time. They're moving together. They get real low. They're listening to people. Women porn. Ladies, no matter what you like, he's out there. You like a fatty? He's out there. Protecting the little ones. The little ones are my favorite. They're so fast. You can't catch them. And then what you do, you just rip those spanks right off them. My dad gets really mad at that joke. He said, Peg, they're not called costumes. They're called uniforms. Dad, someone's paid a lot of money to be like, hey, what color are you guys wearing on Sunday? Cool, we'll wear the other. That's a costume designer. Have you ever seen a Baltimore Ravens jersey? It's purple with Aladdin writing. It's the buoyant shit ever. You guys fucking uncross your arms, motherfuckers. It's a comedy competition. Entertained. This is a Netflix. I have feelings. I'm bad at dating. I yell a lot. Turns out guys don't like that. I also feel bad for guys because I feel like they see me. I'm like really loud. I have this hair. They're like, oh, you're gonna be a freak. And I'm like, oh no, I'm a real freak in the streets, but a real Catholic in the sheets. You know? I'm missionary for this one. 13 years of Catholic school. Okay. Here's the thing, I am bad at dating. I blame my 4 sisters. I have 4 older sisters that are like a decade older than me, and they said to me always, don't sleep with a guy on the first date, because he won't call you back. We've all heard this cliche, right? Fuck this cliche. Number 1 reason, why am I on this date? The whole point of dating is to get laid, right? Literally, if dating was a sport, getting laid would be winning. It's been a rough year for old Peggy over here. Not going to the final. Like to play one regular season game well, so we call it a building year. Couple tough love. Couple gay guys. It's very hard, y'all wear tight pants now. Cliches, I don't think it's accurate. I think men my age are fine with women wanting to sleep with them. They also want to sleep with us. I always get a call back. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, I just do. It's always like, hey Peg, you want to get beers with me and my friends? Sure, cool, meeting the friends. But yeah, because I really like this girl, Erica, and I'd love to get a lady's perspective. So I stopped sleeping with guys on the first date because I got too many buddies. This pussy knows how to make friends, guys. Guys, if my pussy was in a beauty pageant, it would win Miss Congeniality. But if my pussy was walking down the street now, you'd all be like, I like that dude, he's pretty cool. I got the Tom Hanks of pussies, people. And all I liked it was very good in Philadelphia. Oh, anchor. I like that the whole first row just hates their life. That's what you want. They're on a comedy show. Good. Except for you two. It's always fucking white people. Step up your fucking game. You still have your arms crossed, I love it. I'm also one of those lucky ladies depression? Where my white bitches at? Wellbutrin! Get on it, it's the best drug. You know what I'm talking about. White woman Wellbutrin. Here's the thing, I had a bad couple winters. I had to move home to Philly and get on some meds. I got on some meds and I moved back to New York where I was living. And I started doing this new thing. Started sleeping with a lot of guys. Turns out that's the cure for depression. I actually don't know why we're all on pills. Doctors should literally be like, get it in, girl, and send us on our way. Because here's the thing, guys. You can't stay in bed when it's not your bed. You gotta get up! I'm crazy, but not that kind of crazy, you know? The ones you're up like, shit, I think I'm getting highlights. You're having fun. I'm sorry if I offended anybody. It's probably my sister mostly that I said pussy earlier. I'm sorry if that upset you. I get it. People are like, my sisters are always like, you're just trying to be a shocking girl comic. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm not up here like, hey, I got a gay boo pussy, get your dicks inside. Granted, that is the only thing you've laughed at, but that is not what I'm doing. So. I just don't like the alternative. I don't. I like the PC word for it. I'm gonna say it, and I'm sorry. Vagina. Say that word again. Vagina. Vagina sounds like an annoying girl you went to high school with, doesn't it? You just see her in the hallway like, oh fuck, here comes Vagina and shit. Oh hey Vagina, we sweat the fuck into it. Oh Vagina, no, why are you sweating? Stop. Comb your hair, girl, get it together. Pussy sounds like that fun girl you went to high school with. Nobody knows what her real name is, she's just Pussy. If she wasn't failing every one of her classes, she would totally be student body president. Everybody loves pussy. Boys, girls, jocks, thirsty, see pussy in the hall, you're like, puss! Pussy! Pussy, what you doing later? You going to the party? Of course you are. Pussy. You're crazy. You're gonna die soon, pussy. So we got really sad I killed her off in the end. Alright, I'm ready to read so far.